But I do understand that there are some people here who may not know, who have not used it before. So maybe I'll just give a brief overview and then we will go over to learning more about it today. So about me, as Anit said, I'm a storyteller, a trainer, and instructional designer. Apart from that, because maybe being an instructional designer, I have a special interest in how to get the maximum benefit out of the tools that we are using. So these tools by themselves are not important, like Google Classroom or Google Suite or anything, Adobe tools or anything like that. They are just that. They are there so that we can use them to the best possible way. At the end of it, the creativity, the mastery, the best way to teach, everything comes from you, the teachers. So this is just something that would sort of be like an extension of your arms, you could so say, to make it more interesting, to make it more convenient for all. Google Classroom is one such open learning management system. I am not yet sharing my screen, so I will be sharing my screen. When I'm sharing my screen, you will definitely be able to see it. So when we say a learning management system, it is something which helps to manage the learning content. That's all. So that is exactly what Google Classroom is, but to a very, I would say, low to mid-level. It is definitely not a high-level LMS. If you look at several high-level LMS, they'll have a lot of features which you may not find in Google Classroom. But the best part is that it is completely open source. It is available for all. And it has sufficient features which will help you. So, oh, is it echoing? 1 minute. I'll just open the door a little so that. Give me a minute. Is it better now? Is it better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, great. Okay. So, so when you are asking your questions, sometimes I may say that this cannot be done in this, which is fine. So we can always find some other ways to do it, some other ways to make it happen. So it is a very bare bones LMS as LMS go, but it is completely suitable for a lot of purpose. It has what we need and more as teachers. So that is why we are going into the Google into these classes. So before I start, I would like to request some of you who have been here for the earlier sessions to probably share your thoughts on the chat on what you could use Google Classroom for. So what could you use Google Classroom for? What are your thoughts? So if you can tell me, you can put it onto the chat. So any of you who have used it in any way, what have you used it for and what could you use it for? To upload worksheets, sending worksheets to children, to check the notebooks, okay? Streamline assignments and boost collaboration, making PPT assignment as homework, okay? To share lesson PDF. So yeah, definitely. These are all some very good uses which you can use Google Classroom for. So at the end of it, what you can think of it is something which holds all your content in place like a library and makes it easy for you to issue and get back. That is all Google Classroom is. Yes, sharing anything, sharing assignments, grading assignments. It is not unlike Teams, like last time someone was asking about Teams, it is not integrated video conferencing. If you want to do video conferencing or if you want to conduct a class, yes, to correct and send work during the class, absolutely, thank you. If you want to integrate it, you can use other tools such as Zoom or Google Meet. For conducting the class, Google Classroom is only a back-end repository. It is something that you are going to create as a teacher for the students to access. They access it and give it back. Yes, you can share your work and other tools easily available. Absolutely. Um, One of the greatest, I would say, pros of advantages of Google Classroom is that it is backed by the Google suite of products. So anything and everything you can share, whether it's a video, audio, forms, slides, and Word documents, Excel sheets, anything. Pretty much. You can share any existing video, you can share a YouTube video. So pretty much everything can be shared. Secondly, for assignments, and this is something which is very important, you can create separate copies for each student. It is done automatically. Let us say you want to give an assignment where you have a set of 5 questions and you want all your 30 students to answer the 5 questions, but separately. You don't have to create 30 copies of it. Instead, you can create one copy of it, and Google Classroom takes care of the back end of assigning it to all your students. So this is something that is very, very, I am sure, useful for you as a teacher, because you'll be dealing with multiple assignments. You'll be doing with so many assignments that you can't sit and create copies, digital copies for each student. So this is something that is done very easily in Google Classroom. Secondly, student can send it back to you. So it starts with you as a teacher. You create an assignment, you assign it to your students, they complete the assignment, they send it back to you. You can grade it, right? You can grade it, and then you can let the students will be able to see what has been done. These are some of the things that we covered in the previous two sessions. That is how to share content on Google Classroom and how to create assignments. So a couple of other small features I would like to share. And then we're going to have a longer period for questions, so that any questions that you can ask, I can answer. And also, I would like all of you to just do a small hands-on exercise. Whoever has Google Classroom, please do this exercise with me on Google Classroom. So let me just share my screen now. Okay. So yes, so very quickly, I don't want to again go through everything. So Google Classroom is available as an app in your Google Suite. So if you go to this icon on your Google account, you'll be able to see here. If you don't see, please scroll down. You will be able to see among all the other tools. So once you go here, you will go to this. Home page. Yeah. So in my homepage, for example, these are the classes which I had created as demos. So these are the classes which are available. So you have an option to join a class and create a class. So as a teacher, you'll be first creating a class. So it will be a class like any of these. So you create a class. So let us say we go here. Okay. Once you go here, you have 4 tabs. One is called the stream, other is called the classwork, which of course is where your most of your content is going to go. Then you have your students and your grades. Yeah. So this is where you're going to put in your grade for the students. So let us, we did look at the classroom last time and the assignments. So there are 2 types of assignments here. They're pretty much similar, not too different, except that in a quiz assignment, when you create a quiz assignment, a Google Forms is created by default. Whereas when you create a normal assignment, you have an option for adding or creating any of these. So any of these can be given as assignments. So let us say I create a Google Sheet. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. So let us go back here to Google Classroom. So then there is an option for each student to view the file, edit the file, or make a copy for each student. Most of the time, you will be selecting this option if it's an individual assignment. If it is a group assignment, you'll be selecting student can edit a file. So if I give student can edit a file, this is a very nice way to do a collaborative assignment. So you give one to each group of student. So here you have an option for selecting the class and the student. You can assign it to all the student or you can assign it to a set of students. So let us say I decide to create one assignment for a group of 6 students and then another 6 have another assignment. So what I can do is I can create an assignment here and then I can give an option that the student can edit files. So then a single copy of the file is created for all the students to edit together, which is actually a very beautiful way to bring up collaboration in all your assignments. Otherwise, you have to give it individually to each student. Other than that, what you can do here is there is something called a question, right? So this is not something that we discussed last time. So I just want to quickly discuss that. So a question is a discussion, is for a discussion point. It's not an assignment as such, but you can give it as a marked graded assignment also. So this is a question which goes out to all students and you can allow them to have a discussion over it. Let us say that at the end of the class, at the end of today's class, you want them to think about something. You're giving them a point of thinking. You're asking them to think about answers to it. So you can put the question and they can record those answers to this particular question. For example, let us say I want to put a question on why are seasons Earth or something like that. So then, I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is a question. And here I can say students can reply to each other or students can edit answers. If student can reply to each other, means they can have a conversation with each other. If I uncheck this, they will not be able to talk to each other. They will only be able to reply to your question. So let me just now say ask. So this question comes up here. So it is assigned to 11 people. I don't know if this is the same. These were the people who came in the previous class. Some of you may still be there today. So all of you can see this question, right? So I'm going to go as a I'm going to log in through a different account here just to show you. It says that I posted a new question. Why are there seasons on the earth? So I can just give my answer here. It because of revolution. Let's say I just want to put it as a student. So I can just turn it in. That's all. Okay. So this is not a formal assignment, but this can be seen by all the students in your class. So the answers, they can reply to each other and then you can go and see in your screen, you can go and see the questions that I put up. So let's say I go here. I can see that one person has replied. I can also see who are all going to reply to the question. So it is more of a collaboration tool, which is not as formal as an assignment, but it is something to provoke thinking among your students, and you can get them to give back the answers to that question continuously. So this is something that again is a very interesting and useful feature of Google Classroom. Um, then of course there is the stream where you're going to be putting in or whatever you can announce something and make announcements to the class. So I can make announcements to all the students, or I can select a particular student and I can make an announcement and say, please turn in the assignment past the. In this case, I selected only one student. So if I say post, it will go only to that one student. None of the others will get it. So these are some things, as you see, these are some of the things that you normally do in a classroom. You will need to communicate one-on-one with students. You will need to communicate as a group with students. This is something that you can use to do the same thing digitally. So then, so we covered the assignment, we covered quiz, we covered question, we covered material, and then there's a small thing here called reuse post. So what you can do is sometimes the same thing, the same lesson or same assignment, maybe you can reuse them in other courses. So in that case, or you may have additional sections. So I can select here, I can say create new copies of all the attachments, okay, and reuse. So then you basically what you're doing is you're creating a copy of any existing lesson or post. This could be an assignment, this could be a lesson. Something that you do very regularly, right? So you create an assignment for a class and then you want to replicate it for the other sections. You don't have to go on doing it again and again. You can always replicate it. From year to year, you can create a same kind of assignment just by replicating it, changing it and assigning it to a different class. That's also a very useful feature of Google Classroom. Then you have, I think this we went through, grades we did go through. Yes. So here, as you can see, there are options to grade the question also. So if you can just give a single question you want to grade based on that, you can. Whoever has responded, you can grade. You can grade them. Right. Okay. So I think I have covered all the features. Now what I'm going to do is, I know that some of you, this is the first time you're coming, but what we will do is, based on the questions, let us see as we are answering the questions, we will try to cover some of those basic features also, because those basic features have already been covered in the previous sessions. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open it out for questions. Please let me know what your thoughts are. What are your questions on the subject? Yeah. Okay. A quick recap. Okay. I can do it. I think, yeah. Just give me, let me just wait for a couple of more questions and then probably I'll just go and do the recap. Yeah. Yeah, if any other questions as of now on any of the topics we've covered so far? No?
So, ma'am, one of the teacher has asked that how we can create a quiz assignment for the student. Like, how can we create it like with the Google form?
Yeah. Okay, so that is something that, yeah, okay, I'll just go through that again as a part of my recap. Okay, so, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to request all of you to open your Google Classroom. If you are on a mobile, you can download the app. If you are on a laptop, please access it. And I want you to do this sort of thing, the set of steps along with me. And as you do it, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of extra things. And then based on that, whatever questions you have, we can answer. So that way your recap will also happen. And your recap will also happen. And then any questions, any thoughts or other possibilities to come to your mind, that also can be answered. Yeah, is that okay? Shall we do that? I'm assuming it's an S. Okay, so let us go back to our home screen. I want all of you to go to your Google Classroom. And I'm assuming you have. And then you're going to do two things. The first thing, you're going to create a class, and then you're going to join someone else's class. After the session is done, you can archive this class. That is one thing I did want to tell you. I'll just go back once I'm done with this. We'll go back a few settings that can be done in Google Classroom. And a couple of questions which were asked earlier on, which I will go in the previous sessions, which I will answer. So you have to create a class of your own, and you have to join someone else's class, not necessarily mine. I am not going to share the class ID with you right now. I want you to join each other's class. You got it right? I want you to join each other's class, which is the first step. And then what we are going to do is, you are going to add someone. You're going to send an invitation to someone. Point number 2. Thirdly, you are going to add a material to your class, which is a lesson material, and you're going to add an assignment to your class. These are the 4 tasks that we are going to do right now. So those who already know, you can go ahead and start doing it. Those who do not know, you can follow along with me. And as you're doing, whatever questions you have, please feel free to put it on the chat. So as I said, when you go to your Google Classroom screen, this will be the first thing, and on your right hand side, you'll see a plus. So there's an option to create a class and join a class. So I'm going to create a class. So that's going to be my class. I'm going to create a class. So I want you all to follow along with me as you do it. Yeah, I will tell you how to delete unwanted classes. In fact, we will delete this class itself so that it will be clear for you, right? So yeah, so this, as you see, my class is created. I don't like this particular theme. It doesn't go with mine. So there are a set of themes which I can select here. So I don't know what, maybe I'm going to select this for whatever reason, or this. So I'm going to make it a class theme. So I want all of you to select a class theme and change a theme. Of course, you can upload your own photos, which right now we are not interested in doing. Now, once you do that, there are 3 ways to send your information out to others. So you can see here there is something called a class code. So you need to copy this class code and send it by WhatsApp, by mail, by text, or by writing on a blackboard, by chat, or anything to anyone. Once a student gets this code, they can click on join and join with this class code, right? So for example, let us say I copied this class code and I'm going to put it on the chat here. Now, if anyone joins my class, how do they join the class? Let's go back to the main screen here. So I go here, instead of create class, I say join class, right? So it's asking me for a class code. Now, since I'm already a teacher, I won't be able to join this same class, but then all of you, this is where you need to join, right? So this is the class that I've created for today. And when people join my class, I'll be able to see them. The other way is to send an invitation to the students. So copy this. You can put a set of email IDs of the students and send it to them by mail. So the link to join the class can go by mail, by WhatsApp, by anything. It is just a link. So you can decide who can join your class. Okay. So now I want you all to, I'm going to request you all to create a class and put your class code or invitation on chat so that someone else can join it. So anyone else can join the class. Got it? Yeah. So then once that is done, let us see how we are going to add a material and an assignment to the class. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes so that you can just do this task, create a class and join someone else's class. And any questions you have on that, you can ask me. Yeah. So I'm assuming no questions on that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a material here. So material is any lesson or topic that you want your students to just view and read. The difference between the material and an assignment is material is just reading material or viewing material. You cannot grade it, you cannot check it. It is the information you are giving to your students. So let us say I'm going to say is my title. I'm going to give to this. So I want to add some content to it. So what all can I add? I can add a file from Google Drive. I can add a link. I can add a YouTube video. I can add any of these, or I can create new ones. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for. This is a link that I want to send to my students. So I am just going to add a link here. For which class is this? For the sustainability class. I don't want to send it to any of the other programs and for all the students in my class. So as you can see, I'm just going to say post. So here there are two options, schedule, post. Okay, I'm just going to post. Now all the students who are there in this class can access this particular post. I see that no students have joined my class as yet, right? Yeah, I would request all of you to put in your class code or your class invitation in the chat so that you can please join each other's class. Yeah. Then I'm going to create a assignment. This is what we discussed last night for the same. So I want them to write No, definitely. You can add anything from anywhere. So if you see here, Nina Gambir ma'am, you can see here there is an option for file, right? On my screen. If you go and click on your file, you can upload anything. So you go to browse and I can upload anything from my local system or from my drive. But I will say, as a best practice, I would say that it is always better to add it to your drive because it's in a central location rather than using it from your local system. Because let us say you want to create another class, you want to reuse it somewhere, it's always nicer because the classroom is so closely associated with the drive. No, it's much easier and much more organized if it's on your already on your drive. But there is no restriction. You can add anything from anywhere. So I'm going to, this is an assignment, write why sustainability goals India. Okay, I'm going to ask them, this is my assignment. So something like this is what I'm going to give them as an assignment. So I can create a new assignment. I can, let us say I want them to do this as a group project. So you have to decide that before. So I'm going to add a Google Slides to it. Okay. And I can give it some name, group 1. I don't want all my students, so all students can view the single file and edit that. These are the settings, yeah. So I want to say that all students can edit this file. I don't want to give it to all my students. In this case, I don't have any other students, but I can select the students whom I want to give it to, and then I can assign it to them. So this file gets assigned to only set of 4 or 5 students who can update it. Once I assign it to them, you can see it here, right? This will go out to all the students to whom I have assigned it. They'll be able to work on it and send it back to me, right? They'll be able to submit it back to me. So for example, yes, you can better to upload in Drive. How to upload quizzes? Okay, so let me answer that question. How to upload PDF files, just like you're uploading any file. So let me again go back to the course here, right? Classwork, go to create. Can you please do this along? It will be easier for you to remember this or sort of see where it comes rather, not remember. So if I go to classwork, create, you see that there are a set of stuff, right? Yeah. So Shankaran Venugopalan said, that's what I said. Can they work during the class in groups? So if you want them to work in groups, there are 2 options when you share an assignment. 1 minute. Let me just edit this assignment. I can show it to you. There are 2 options here. Either you can say, okay. So once that option is set and assigned, you won't be able to change it. So let me create a new assignment. Okay. So in this case, I will create a doc. So there are, if you see here, if you can see my screen, there are 3 options: view file, edit file, and make a copy for each student. If you want to do a group project, you will have to choose can edit file. That means a single file is created for all the students together. All of them can edit the same file. So when you are doing that, you will have to give some kind of rubrics or guidelines to them as to who is going to do what. Those kind of information, you can put it in your instructions here. So you can grade it as a group. So naturally, when you're creating a group, you won't be selecting all your students, but you can select specific students for each assignment. On the other hand, if you want each of the students to hand in the assignment individually, you have to say make a copy for each student. So here I can say uh, why do they you or something like that. So I want each of my students to submit a copy individually. So I'll be selecting this option, right? So then I can say assign. Now this will go as a copy to each student, separate copy to each student, right? For example, let me just, if you want to create a quiz as an assignment, there are two ways to do it. One is you can do a quiz assignment. So you go here and automatically a blank quiz form is created for this assignment, right? So naturally forms by their own nature, they will be individual. So each student will get a separate form. But the advantage of creating it through Google Classroom, so you may ask a question, why should I use Google Classroom at all? I can just go to Google Forms, create the forms and send it to all my students. Perfect. But then the advantage of creating it through Google Classrooms is that your set of students are already there. You don't have to send them out to specific students every time. Instead, they're all there already in your classroom. So once you create a form and create a quiz and say assign, automatically this will be sent to each of the students to whom you have assigned it. Right? So you will have a higher degree of control over who uses it. And it's much more easier to use. So here a blank form is attached to it, and you can go ahead and add your questions to it. If you see the settings here, there are two things that are set for forms automatically. It is set as a quiz. So make this a quiz is automatic. This set, that means that you'll be able to assign values for each question. There are some other options you can set. You can limit to one response so that the students will not be able to submit it again and again and again. So unless you say edit after submit, the student will not be able to submit it again, right? So this is one thing you can do. In one of the earlier classes, there was a question that there's an issue where students are submitting the assignment multiple times. They are unsubmitting and submitting again, even though the history of it. 1 minute, could you please explain about? So, sir, can you explain a little more about what you mean by when you're saying project work? What are the functions that you want the students to do? And I can tell you how you can do it using Google Classroom. In the meanwhile, as I was telling, there was an answer in one of the previous questions, sorry, as to there is a slight, I won't say glitch, there is an issue here that the students can unsubmit and resubmit again and again. So actually there is an option here in Google Classroom. Yeah, if you go here, I'm just going to close this. I'm going here and there is something called settings, right? If you go to your settings here, so where was it? Home settings. So if you scroll down, you will see an option which says that late submissions for student work allowed, resubmissions for student work allowed. You can uncheck this so that they will not be able to resubmit their work. This is the first step. But this is a feature that is still being rolled out and it may not be available to all of you, right? So then there are a couple of other options that you can do. One option involves using a form. So instead of giving your assignment as a part of a assignment itself, you can attach your assignment file to the form, right? So then what happens is, not only will a copy be created for each student, they will not be able to submit it again. The other thing you can do is, for that I will need to just do a bit of a demo. Please bear with me. Sorry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, okay, and I am going to join here using the Classwork. So since I had selected it for all students, you can see that all these are already available to me. As soon as you add a new student, you don't have to go and assign it again and again multiple times, right? So what I can do is, let us say, I am going to view an assignment. So something I'm going to type, or something like that. So then what I'm going to do is, so then I have submitted this assignment. So I'll go here and I'll see this, right? So I'll say view assignment. So I can, once I say mark it as done, so there is this option to unsubmit. So now we don't, as a teacher, you may not want it to be unsubmitted. Then what you can do is you can go to your classwork. So write why sustainability goals, right? This assignment. I'm going to go here, edit it. Then I can uncheck this particular student. In this case, since I'm the only student, that is not possible. But otherwise, you can, once I uncheck, let us say I do this, it's not possible because I'm the only student. Once I uncheck it, this student will not be able to unsubmit at all again. Right? So that would be the advantage of doing that. So you can control. Once you've given an assignment and it is submitted, once all the students have submitted it, go and uncheck the assignment as assigned, and then none of the students will be able to edit that again. So that is something that definitely you can do. Let me see if there are any other questions. Can we use this? Oh yeah, unwanted classes. Yes, I'll just show it. Can you use this through app? Yes, definitely. So you can, there is this app you can download from both the mobile, Android and Apple Play Store. However, As a teacher, I would say it will be much easier for you to do it if you are using a laptop, because you need to do a lot of things, like you need to add assignments, you will be putting in instructions. I'm not saying it is difficult, but I always find it much easier to use a laptop to assign classes, create assignments, and all. So much more easier to do it. But whatever, all these functionalities are available in the uh, mobile app also. So now I'm going to go to the home page. Now I have decided that I want to delete this. So there is no option to delete as such. What you can do is archive. Okay. So once you've archived the class, unless you unarchive it, they will not be able to update it, delete it, access it, or anything like that. Right? Students will not be able to do any action on it. So end of this thing, you can archive the class, and again at the beginning of the next year, you can you can delete all the students and again unarchive the class. So if I say archive, you can see that this classroom is no longer available at all. So even for me as a student, as you can see, it has vanished. Right? That particular class is no longer available to me as a student. So you can definitely archive your class. 1 minute. Any other questions? I hope all of you did try it out. Because it's only when you try it out that you will get those questions which you as you keep working it on it only, you will get the questions. So I'm requesting all of you again to try it out. So I think that is answered. So any other questions that are left, or anything else you would like to know?
No, ma'am, I can't see more questions from here. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation and your important time. Thank you so much for your valuable support, ma'am.
You're most welcome. So anytime you have any questions, definitely you can route it to me. I would definitely be happy to help. So this is something, as I said, very easy to use and very self-evident. So all you need to do is go through it a few times and then you will know exactly what is it. Very simple functionalities. You can't do many complicated things you cannot do. Just simple stuff you can do, but that is more than sufficient for normal classes. Whatever you need, you can do. So anything else, if ever you want to know, I'd be happy to help.
Sure, ma'am. So I am going to share the email ID, our teacher class email ID. So if you have any questions regarding Google Classroom, please do share on that email ID, and I will surely connect with ma'am to get the answers of that queries and questions. So I am just sharing the email ID of Teacher Class Foundation. So please just save it, and you will be able to share the queries here. Thank you. So, the certificate will be available within the 7 working days. We just need to review the participation and the duration of staying here. And based on that, eligible teachers will surely get the certificate within 7 working days, which means by next Friday, you will surely receive the certificate. Great, teachers. Teachers, I'm going to share the schedule. On Tuesday, we are going to have a class on Young Vivekanand context. So basically, this is the contest for student, but Sanjay sir will going to take this session and will show that how a teacher can support his or her student to participate in this all India level contest to win such wonderful awards or the scholarships. And as a teacher, how you can support your students and earn the mentor's certificate or mentor award from this. So please do sign up for these classes and please do share with your peer teachers as well. If you're enjoying our classes and finding useful, I'm going to share a small message and request you all to just copy this message and share with your peer teachers. Ask them to join our classes. We have shared the link here as well. So do share this message if you have enjoyed our classes. Thank you so much, teachers. Great. Yes, the certificate will be available within the 7 working days. So we will surely provide the certificate to the eligible teachers by the next Friday. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Meera ma'am. Thank you so much for your time and thanks so much for your energy. I hope the teacher find it useful and will surely going to use this tool for their classes.
Sure. Thank you so much, for this opportunity. I am happy that I'm able to share my knowledge on this particular topic with the teachers. I definitely hope that they will be